Okay, we're live. Ian, we're live and all right, live on my YouTube channel right now with Iain Valliere. Get there now.
Ian,
Check it
we're
out.
live and
All right,
I'm hearing you in the back.
I cut it out.
Oh,
Okay. So we got new rules for 2026. Welcome everybody. I'm here
sure
with
do.
the third best bodybuilder in Canada.
Yeah.
The
Soon to be the fourth after Regan
first,
passes me,
first me, then Paul Dillette,
Then
then
Ben Pekulski,
Ben Pickle.
then me, then soon to be Regan.
That's Regan's
I'm going to
ahead.
be fourth.
Regan's ahead of you as well.
Yeah.
Hey, I went and I'm getting my tattoo done.
When?
Get my whole arm.
Are you?
Well, just my up to my elbow, but I gotta wait.
Wait till your arm is not quite so skinny.
Well, it's not only that. See that little bit of road rash that's left over there?
Yeah. Wait for that. Yeah.
He's like, you gotta wait for that to go away. And he said, because we got surgeries coming up. He said, I can't do anything till
You're healed up
surgery.
from that.
Yeah, the surgeries are all done. So I gotta wait a little while, but I got a really, really cool design coming.
Cool.
Anyway, welcome everybody to the live stream. We don't have a lot of people here. Let's figure out how to get more people.
Yeah. Let me,
What's going on, everybody? I'm going live right now with Iain Valliere on my YouTube channel. Get to Fouad Abiad Media right now. Check it out. We're going to talk some bodybuilding. Why is my internet so bad?
it's the office.
How does that guy know that? Juiced up 720. Shout out Ben telling Fouad his tan was green. I think I told that story. I might have told that story on the podcast.
Who's what?
I was walking up on stage at the Arnold. You know how they used to have the box that you'd step up on?
Yeah. They had that too when I did it.
Right. So I was standing on the side of the box. Ben got first call out. I was second call out. So as I was walking by him, he goes, "Hey man, your tan looks green." Like, what the fuck? You're such a fucking cocksucker.
Did it?
No, it didn't. This
He's
is
just trying to, he's playing mental warfare, right?
a fucking asshole.
That's awesome.
I'm not even the same call out as him. He's like fucking anyway. Um, okay. We got some new rules for this guy, Kevin Vance super chat says, Ian finished in the wife if we get a boy naming him after you.
If you actually do that, I'll be very, very happy. Please do it. We need more Ians with the extra I in there.
What if he just says Ian without the extra I? Does that count?
No,
Okay.
there's lots of those already. We need the IAINs to,
Okay.
yeah. So people don't keep calling me Lane. If we popularize it, it'll become more normal.
All right. These are the rules. Not
Oh,
this. Not that either. Okay. These are the
Inception.
rules for 2026.
Yep.
So as you guys can see here, it starts on September 15th.
Yeah. So that will be the first qualifier like for next season.
Yep. I'll start over here because it's simple. This the men's bodybuilding, 212, all this, none of this changes. Top three from the 2025 Olympia. That's already the same. All this, I don't know about the wheelchair bodybuilding if that changes, but the stuff for men's bodybuilding is not going to be the same.
No, yeah. For men's open, 212, women's bodybuilding, fitness, figure. Yep.
I
So like the classes that generally have like less than 25 shows.
Yeah. I had a quick conversation with Tyler, and he said that him and his grandfather, Jim, sat down. I don't know if anybody else was involved in the meeting, but he said they sat down and created this new system. So the new system is to reduce the amount of classic men's physique, bikini, and wellness people at the Olympia. Because as Ian has said many times, they had like 60 people in some of those classes.
Some more. I mean, you were up to almost 70. I think some of them this year you'll have over 70.
Yeah, that's not really
No.
it's not doable. But you know
No,
what's
I mean
fun?
it's sorry to interrupt. It's not doable from two standpoints or three. One from an athlete standpoint, it's very hard to like time everything from that.
Right.
Like it would the shows go longer. And even I remember the last Olympia I did, they told us that we were going to be on stage like 9, 10 p.m. I didn't end up going on stage like midnight because the other divisions before had 200 fucking competitors. It took a long time.
Right.
Secondly, it makes it very difficult to watch from a viewership standpoint. The show's very long, it's monotonous. And then third, from a judging standpoint, one, it's hard to accurately judge, but two, think of being a judge and having to sit through those days and still being able to like keep your eye on the ball.
Yeah.
Yeah, it gets very, very difficult. So I'm sure the judges, one, are very happy. The spectators will be very happy. And that's why the Arnold is so much better from a viewership standpoint. And the competitors that are qualified. I'm sure some people won't be happy that, well, that we're kind of the fringe pros that we're getting in on smaller shows.
Mhm.
But I mean, I think all around this is really great news.
Yeah, we've talked about this so many times on the podcast, and one of the things Tyler said is it doesn't really change the visibility at night because at night only the top 10 get
Yeah.
posed anyways,
Yep.
or to even do the confirmation rounds.
Well, what they do though is I think they have a lot of them, they still like come up on stage and do kind of one pose and wave and go off,
Oh,
don't they?
I don't know.
I think they used to. I don't know if they still do. So at least you won't have so many people doing that at least. So it's going to shorten the show as a whole, which will be way better. I mean, you can't have a 6 hour show and expect people to remain as interested in the whole thing, you know?
I look at it from simply as a prestige thing. It's like
Yeah,
it's the Olympia. It should be, in my opinion, I'm even stricter than this. They've given people still a lot of room to
I agree.
qualify. I would go down to like 20 people. Like,
Yeah.
but let's take a look anyway at the thing they've created here. So they got the top 25 in the point standings qualify for the Olympia. Automatic qualification for Olympia if you win two contests. Um,
Except for the Arnold first place, Pittsburgh, New York, Romania, and Dubai. Just winning that will get you a qualification.
yeah, yeah, and the points are more for those shows. I tried to get Detroit lumped in with this group, and he shot me down.
Give it a couple years, you'll get there.
Yeah, yeah. So then you have more points obviously for these shows and the Olympia, and then the tiers go down as you go.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, I think it's great. I think it's going to be interesting to see how the points. It's going to be more interesting to watch during the season.
Yeah.
So you get a lot of people trying to get into that last bit, the last 25 points.
Well, it's going to incentivize a lot of more two-show winners as well. Like people that are winning and like not taking the chances on it being in the point system. You're going to get a lot more people doing multiple pro shows trying to get double wins, which I think will be good. So I think you're still going to end up with, probably in some of these divisions more like 40 people, because I think when you have the 25 plus the 3 from the previous year, plus the singular winners from the Arnold and those other shows, plus then the double winners from the season, you'll probably still end up with, 40, maybe even 45, depending on how many people, really don't want to take their chances in the point system. Like, unless you're sitting in like the top 5 or 10, or maybe even 15, 15's pushing it, but top 10 in points where you're really safe. You're probably going to want to try and get that second win or collect more points still. So, yeah, I suspect you'll probably end up with, 40 plus in some of those divisions, especially divisions like bikini, where competing multiple times a year is a little easier than some other divisions. And that's not trying to take anything away from them. It's, less drugs, less weight, less food, less fucking everything, diuretics, whatever. So yeah, I think it's going to definitely cut it down by a good amount. And I think it does increase the prestige, like you said.
Um, what do you think it would happen if they made it 3 wins? Do you think they've gone far enough?
I think this is a good starting point. I think that they can start with 2. I think, saying people to have to win 3, I think that's a lot of pro
Or if
shows to win
you boost the points from 25 to 50 or 35,
for a win, or like, what do you
No,
mean?
no, total at the end. Like you have to have 35 points instead of 25.
Well, you don't have to have 25 points. It's 25 people in points. So like you could have one,
25
you could,
points. You're right.
yeah,
You're
you
right.
could have 1 point, but be
Right.
25th and still qualify. So
Yeah, but
it's
you could shrink that down then from top 25 people to
20.
top 15 people. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so that is, I think, where they should be adjusting going forward. I think the
Yeah.
2 wins is nice. I think if you win 2 pro shows, you deserve to be at the Olympia, 100%.
Right.
I think if you win one of the big shows, I think you should deserve to be in there.
Yeah, but be careful. You're also thinking like an open men's bodybuilder. There's a lot of men's physique shows.
Yeah, but I think if you win 2, I think you've shown like,
Yeah.
if you win 1, it could be a bad lineup. If you win 2, it's like, look, it could be a bad lineup, but you're reducing the odds of it being 2 weak lineups in a row,
Right.
just by statistics. So I think that is, I think at that point you've won 2 shows out of whatever the 50 is in the year. You've earned your spot to be at that level. I think reducing maybe down the road to 15 or 20 in points, depending how many people. I think if they go this year with, all those additional places you can qualify, the big shows, the um, whatever it was, the two wins, whatever, they still end up being 45, 50 competitors. Because of that, then I think you need to readjust and maybe make it 15 on points. Like, okay, we could reduce this by another 10. We're at like 45 right now. If we reduce this from 25 to 15, we bring it down to about 35, which I think is palatable. So yeah, I think this is a good starting point. I think it'll definitely cut it down. It makes it a little more elite. And then after the 26 Olympia, then they can kind of gauge based off that and be like, all right, do we need a little more refinement? First year is going to be kind of just figuring it out. And I think you can refine from there. But I think if you make it too harsh, I think it's better to go more harsh than backwards.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think we covered that. I think it's a good job on the IFBB's part. I
Yeah.
think personally, I'd like to see it go further, but I'm happy they're doing it.
Yeah. No, I think it's good. I mean, I think this will definitely increase the prestige, make the show faster and easier to digest for the audience and for live stream viewers and things like that.
I gotta,
And easier for the competitors to kind of peak and not have to wait around quite as long.
I gotta ask you this though, because somebody mentioned it in the chat. They're adding fit model to the to the Olympia lineup.
Is it in those qualification standards though? And it's in for what? For the point system ones?
Right here, fit model.
Okay. So that they're just keeping, yeah, as the same because there won't be obviously more than 25 shows or whatever they're using as their base for those kind of ones. But I mean, yeah, you're adding one division. I mean, that's whatever. But
Is anybody gonna watch that?
what?
Is anybody gonna watch that?
I mean, probably
Isn't
not. I think it's not like something that's a super well developed physique, so it doesn't make it extremely exciting to watch.
okay.
And I think it's just kind of like a toned down bikini, so it's tough. I think the girls that are interested in the division will watch it, and I think it has its place, for maybe like younger girls that are coming into the sport, kind of looking for a place but don't want to be, overly muscular and kind of just want to look nice. I think there's maybe a spot there for it. But I have a hard time seeing it at the Olympia level fitting in well because it's so low on like the muscularity and conditioning and like overall kind of bodybuilding scale. Bikinis, I think kind of the bottom end that we should keep it at. But I think you need to kind of see what it looks like at the Olympia level before we really decide that.
This guy says previous winners qualify for life or for 5 years. This other guy says, no, they're not, but they are, I believe.
Well, yeah, they did previously have that. If you were a ex-Olympia winner, you are qualified for life, correct?
Yeah, I think they still have that.
So yeah, it doesn't state in these rules, but I'm going to assume that is remaining unchanged. Um, but I do think they should. That's tough. Do you think they should put a cap on that? Like it's 5 years, or do you think it should be forever? I mean,
Oh,
it's like, look, if you've won Olympia, I do think you've earned the right to come back. And I think it's cool because like I think if you have someone like, Phil Heath decides to come back in a few years, like let him come back. You know what I mean? It's fucking cool. It's good for the sport.
you won the Olympia. You get
Yeah.
qualify for like
I
that's
agree. Yeah. And that's adding one competitor. That's not like doing so much. I mean, it could add more. I mean, because like, right now we have Brandon that is requalifying off of being a previous Olympia winner. He's not qualifying every year. So there is some guys that are using that.
Hottie.
But it's not, and Hottie. But Hottie was top three.
Last year. You're right. Yeah.
Hottie was third last year. He
Yeah.
hasn't actually been out of the top three since he's won. So,
Right.
so he's been maintaining his qualification. But if Hottie was to place fourth this year, then he could still do it based off his previous, I believe. So, but no, I think that's not adding so many people to the lineup that it's ever going to be an issue. So I think giving a lifetime qualification, there's not going to be any point where you're going to have 15 previous Olympia winners all of a sudden doing the show. And if you do, it's a fucking six storyline. So I mean, run with it.
Yeah. Um, okay. This guy asked Fouad, now they have label shows that are top level, like you and Ian have talked about before. Now you can tell what show is top tier. I don't know what that means.
Yeah, I mean, like when we joke about being like a first tier, second tier bodybuilder, I think.
They've always had the different standings though for top tier and less.
Yeah. The only thing I don't quite agree with that is like, look, I understand the Arnold and stuff like that, but there has been shows that aren't, and every year this happens, where outside of say, Dubai or some of these shows, like, yeah, Pittsburgh was a great lineup this year and some, but that won't be the case every single year. There will be years where Tampa Pro or Texas Pro or some of these do have the best lineups of the year, you know? So I think they could be
Well,
the
that
most
depends.
competitive.
Hold on. That depends how you qualify what is a best lineup. You, like for me and you, we watch bodybuilding and we're like, okay, the Tampa lineup might have been the best lineup of the entire year.
Sorry.
This Italy lineup is crazy. The Texas lineup is crazy, but they don't have the prestige of Pittsburgh because of Derek and Nick and
Yeah, no, look, as of this year, I agree with you. And that's why I didn't use this year. I said it could be the case. This year, do I agree that Pittsburgh, when you have guys like Nick and Derek and Martin, do I think that that is the premier show? 100%. You know, I think when you're bringing the big dogs out, that qualifies you more as a big show. But like I said, that might not be the case every year. But what you do create with incentivizing it with winning that and you're in, or getting more points for those shows, you're going to incentivize those to be premier shows. So it could be the case that because they put in this point system, not for bodybuilding, but for the other shows, that does incentivize it. But for bodybuilding, there's no more. I guess actually this doesn't even apply to bodybuilding because bodybuilding is just a win and you're in. There's no point system. So that actually for bodybuilding, this is a moot point. So I don't even know what we're talking about. But for the other shows, like let's say for bikini at Pittsburgh, that might not be the case that is the best show every year. You know, like there could be where you get 6 Olympia top 10s at fucking, Omaha Pro. But like I said, the point system will incentivize those people to compete there because there's more reward for it, you know?
well, you have obviously first of all, you have what I don't like about it is how do they choose that? Like
Yeah.
I get the Dubai Pro, Pittsburgh, and Arnold because they're giving out six
Huge
figure,
cash.
six
Yeah.
figure cash, right? So I'm like, okay, if that's your qualifier, like you have to give out 6 figures or more to be in this top tier, then say that.
Hmm.
But then you have New York Pro, is that just grandfathered in because it's an old show? And then you have Romania Muscle Fest. I don't even know how much money they give.
Yeah. See,
Every
those two I don't agree with. And that's really more what I was speaking to is,
yeah.
why the odds of those always being like New York Pro some years, the lineup's not great. I mean, it's
That's
just the
what I said. I
reality.
think it's just grandfathered in because it's an old show,
Yeah. But
right?
like I said, I also think that this point system and having that as a singular win at one of those shows qualifying you for the Olympia, that will incentivize them to be premier shows because if you can win one show and qualify or you get a heavier points load, then that's clearly going to incentivize bigger name athletes to go there and qualify. They're like, hey, I just want to do one show, win this, and be done with it. So it's definitely going to incentivize it. But how did they decide that in the first place is a different thing than what it will be going forward.
This guy says Romania is a Jake Woods show, so that makes sense.
Okay, so and New York Steve Weinberger show. So I mean, there's some things that make sense in there. And New York is kind of the OG of pro shows. You get the ring. There is a prestige there. You know, me myself being a New York Pro champion, I kind of fall into that lump of extremely elite athletes. You know,
Lose your
so
ring, you fucking
I
idiot.
lost my ring. Do I keep? Does it even count if I lost my ring? I messaged Steve asking for one. And he said, "Sure." Just replied like, "Hey, can I get a new one?" Explain the situation. He just replied, "Sure."
Fuck
And
off.
then I followed up on it, never got an answer. So I don't know if I'm ever getting a new ring, but
These guys keep talking about the Mr. O winner. So it says former Mr. O winner rule is weird. They have a lifetime eligibility for 5 years from their last O win. You need board approval. They're going to approve them 100% of the time.
so is this is the rules as of the
That's,
IFBB website?
that's what it says. I haven't looked.
Can we pull that up?
I can see if I can find it, but I doubt it.
I can pull it up here.
It's not that important. I don't think it's that important.
No, I don't think it makes any significant difference in the scheme of things.
Pro rules. Let's take a look together.
Any former Olympia winner has lifetime eligibility. However, this eligibility is not automatic. Where more than 5 years have elapsed since the last Olympia win, then there's board approval. Okay, so you do have lifetime eligibility. It's at the very, very bottom.
Is it
Yeah, like last lines there.
like
Uh,
20?
no, you're in open bodybuilding, but yeah, I'm just in the general rules. Like go back to the main page on
Doesn't
ifbbpro.com.
This is the general rules.
Yeah, there and to the bottom. Oh, okay. I'm on a different page than you, but
Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You
yeah.
got
So
it.
it just says any former Olympia winner has lifetime eligibility, so you're always eligible. But if it's been more than 5 years, then they have to approve you. I think that's actually a great system. So I'm cool with that. You know, if it's a guy that's so far removed in his physique is just like not even close to that level, then I think that.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's really the reality of it all the time. Anyone like Kevin never won Olympia. They let him do the Olympia, Flex Wheeler never won Olympia. They let him do the Olympia. So I
But
think, it's all,
it's always up for review.
yeah, I mean, it's a show that they can always pick and put who the fuck they want on the show. It's their show.
Okay, okay, hold on though. I got a really good point about that. This is why it's interesting. So they pick and choose when it's supposed to be a sport and when it's supposed to be entertainment.
Yeah.
When it's supposed to be a sport, you're supposed to follow the rules, period.
Yeah.
Right? Like you never have a football team come back and go, well, we won the Super Bowl 6 times, so we just get to do it.
Yeah.
So this is what I'm saying. So if you look at the rules, you have this rule book, right? Everybody's got to follow these rules. But then every once in a while, they're like, yeah, but it's good for entertainment. So we're going to let so and so come back to the show.
Yeah.
But this is what changes it from being like when I say to people, like, well, they say that Arnold has to have all the classes because it's not prestigious enough. It'll never be the best show on earth because it doesn't have all the classes. I'm like, okay, but the Olympia does stuff also that's like entertainment wise,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It's like it's taking away from its sport, so to say.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I do agree with the sentiment that you're going at for
Like they
sure.
should just say these are the fucking rules. Doesn't matter if you're a superstar or not. These are the rules because we want to be the premier show in bodybuilding, and there's no breaking the rules.
Yeah.
Be Mr. Olympia.
Yeah, I agree with it on both sides. I can definitely see it from the promoter side of, when you have someone like Kevin or Flex or someone like this is where it comes down to board approval. And I think that certain cases can definitely be very beneficial for the marketing of the show. And I think at the end of the day, it needs to be a profitable show and these things do matter. But I also think, like you're saying, when you start bending the rules too much, it kind of does, not it does diminish to a very small degree the overall prestige of it being like extremely stringent rules of like these are the qualifications. We're not moving away from it. You have to be best in the world currently, XYZ. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I definitely see it from both sides. And, I've fought against, like when they gave Ramy special invite when he had issues and stuff. I don't agree with that. I think if you're still active and things like that, but then I also do see it from the promoter side and as a sport that needs to generate revenue. And that I do think if these athletes are going to add to the entertainment value and bring out potentially more fans and more live stream views, then I am kind of in favor of it. So I don't know. That's a really a tough one for me to I'm going to ride the fence a little bit on that. So cause I completely see both sides of it. If I was a promoter, I would want to have that ability to let who I want in the show if I thought that it was going to be extremely valuable to the marketing. But I also see it from the other side. So it's tough. Yeah.
So I have I want you to guess. Do you think the Olympia bumps to $1 million to match the Arnold?
I think they will eventually. Yeah. I don't know if it'll be this year, next year. I think they're going to have to see how this Olympia goes and kind of what their numbers are doing. They're obviously going to have a fair bit of cost savings from reducing the amount of competitors. For anyone that doesn't know, they pay the flights and hotels and give you a small kind of bursary for food, like $75 a day or something, for 3 days for some and 4 days for the open or guys that compete over 2 days, whatever classes that is. Plus they pay your flights, which has a cap, and they pay your hotels for either 3 or 4 days, whatever it is. So, when you eliminate that, if you take out, say, in 5 divisions, you
Do
take
they
out,
do that? Do they do that for all
yes,
80 fucking people that have qualified?
I believe so.
That's
Which thinks one, logistically, that's a lot. You got to organize all this shit. It's a lot to deal
logistically
with.
just why? That's a lot of fucking
It's a
tracksuits.
lot, and you're paying
Lights.
someone. You have someone on staff on salary that is organizing all this and dealing with this accounting and all that. That's more hours for them. It's more logistics to deal with, and it's cash out of pocket paying for this. So I mean, I think even if you just going forward with the new rules, reduce that amount of competitors by say, what would that take out? Maybe 200 competitors? No, that's too many.
Oh,
25, let's say 20 to 30 per class, and there's 5 classes. So yeah, between 100 and 150, I'd
yeah.
say $1,000 a pop. I mean, that's a good chunk of change that can be added into the purses. So I think if you take that and combine it with the Olympia is, been growing a little bit the last couple of years since COVID years. I think that there is probably room maybe for them to increase it. But they're going to have to weigh it if they think that it's as any added benefit to them. You know, it's like, do we feel we're still the number one prestigious show, and maybe with the new rules and blah blah blah, do we
Yeah.
gain anything from this? And I guess they'd have to weigh that and definitely see what their revenue stream is looking like after this season.
I want to show you a picture and see what you think. What do you see?
I mean, I see the right arm, like left side on the picture, right side arm is definitely down from the other side.
Sorry.
The bicep especially. I mean, the tricep too, but the bicep more so. That's
Is it something to do with the graphic?
I don't think so. No, I mean, look at the peak difference. Where it's going up to on his forearm is pretty significantly different, and at the bottom as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it begs me to wonder if maybe he has some kind of neurological issue because the right lat is a little smaller too. That whole left side is a little more developed. We also know that's the same side that he has that quad issue on.
Right.
So if he had some kind of like upper or lower cervical issue going on that's kind of reducing nerves going all the way down, that could be like arm, lat, leg, like, right down that whole right side. Because it seems to be very focused on the right side. Like the left side, like you can see the lat is more, the arm is more, the leg is more on that side. So I definitely think it looks less there.
Yeah, it looks a little better there without
Yeah, the
the.
tricep you can see more there, but it,
Yeah.
it definitely doesn't look as pronounced in that picture. But it is still noticeable for sure.
Is it because his arm, like the other thing too, is I noticed he's not rotating this arm as far back as this arm.
I don't know.
So
It
it's
looks
like
pretty
he's,
similar to me.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean the imbalances as a whole are definitely less noticeable here. But look, on an Olympia stage with those lights, they don't lie. So if there is anything there, we're definitely going to see it on stage. But like we've noticed his quad over the last couple of years losing a bit of sweep on that one side. Yeah, it's a little bit. It's not super dramatic. I mean, the triceps lost a little bit of like lower belly on it, and the bicep isn't quite as full. But I mean, most competitors do have some kind of small variance between their two arms. Like my left arm is definitely better than my right.
Yeah, I don't think
Um,
that's anything that we haven't seen before.
yeah, I don't think it's a huge issue.
No, I think it was the graphic more than, I mean, there it looks pretty big.
Yeah, it looks pretty full there. Yeah, I think that's just a small variance between arms. I don't think that's anything that's going to call super attention to it, so I wouldn't worry about that.
Yeah. All
Yeah.
right. Well,
But yeah, in that first picture you showed, it definitely looked more noticeable. So it's tough to say.
gotta be careful with the graphics, man. They fucking freak you out. All right. We're gonna wrap there. We just want to talk about the new rules. Any questions before we go?
Yeah. What do you guys got for us?
You're watching yourself. Oh, you can see the chat.
Yeah, I can see it down here.
Oh, you're watching your on your own thing. Okay.
I just have it down on my phone here. Yeah.
Bartley Weaver, Fouad, I'm still looking for a sponsor for the first ever eating contest at the Olympia. I have a 20-foot booth. Would Hostile be interested? Uh, I'm not, I don't think we're gonna sponsor an eating
Get
contest.
into the competitive eating world.
People already know I love eating. I don't want to take it any further. Sorry, Bartley. I'm gonna have to pass on that one.
Someone said his arms look the best they have been. I
I
don't know
don't.
if I 100% agree with that. I think they look good overall for size, but there is a bit of a discrepancy there. Like when we looked at more pictures, I don't think it's super dramatic. I think the more photos we looked at, the less I saw.
Yeah.
But like I said, it's one of those things that you really need to see when he's on the Olympia stage, because we did notice it in the quad. The quad is noticeable for sure on that right quad.
Yeah.
So it really depends.
Hey boys, doing my Masters State Pro qualifier here in Australia on September 21st. Haven't been on stage for 21 years since I won my division at the Australian when Ronnie was guest posing.
Crazy.
Amazing.
Yeah. Well, good luck, man. That's cool.
Partly. Thank you, bro. Thanks for understanding, man. Um,
Someone said, would you possibly be able to address my comment on your pod with Sir Kyle? I know it's a bit off topic. What's the comment? I don't know.
what was the comment? I
Tell
don't
us
know.
the comment, Caleb. How long ago did you start? I might fuck off and rewatch that. We started about
Minutes ago.
20
Half an hour.
minutes. Yeah,
Half an
20
hour.
minutes, half hour.
Um, what is this?
What comparison are you most excited to see on the Olympia stage? I'm excited to see Nick and Derek again because of Pittsburgh.
Same thing.
Um, I'm excited to see Terrence and Mike because they haven't really competed with each other since Terrence has kind of leveled up and Mike is Definitely the front runner. I think Mike is still a very clear winner there. But I think that's a comparison I like to see. Sorry, go ahead.
Uh, Nick and Samson.
Nick and Sam. In my mind, as just a fan and not saying this is will the placings will be, I see that as your top two. If
Yeah.
I'm judging the show based off what I perceive them to look like, I see that as the top two. And I think it's a really cool top two because they couldn't be more dramatically different. It's like black guy, white guy, tall guy, short guy, big guy, aesthetic guy. It's like literally every difference. And like Nick's strong points aren't Samson's strong points. Like Samson's strong point are his legs and his midsection, where Nick's are his arms and his back. Like they're
Yeah.
completely different, for
Yeah.
every single thing of them couldn't be more different. So that I'm very excited to see, and I'm excited to see Nick with that whole top four with Derek and Hottie. We haven't seen Nick next to Hottie in 3 years, since the 22 Olympia because he missed 23 and 4. So to see him back against Hottie, and we haven't seen him against Samson that long as well. So we saw him against Derek in Pittsburgh where there was obviously some controversy with the placing. So yeah, I think that's going to be really exciting. And like I said, in classic, seeing how Terrence back at the Olympia stacks up with, who I deem as the very clear top dog being Mike. And Ramon seems to be looking really good as well. So I'm excited to see kind of those guys in the mix.
Hey,
And I'm excited to see Keon just fucking annihilate everybody.
Nate wants to know if you're getting a Busa.
I'd really want to. I'll tell you where I'm at. I just bought my bike this season and I don't want to take that big of like once you drive it off that first year, that's the big initial loss. When I drive it a couple more years or one more season, then I won't. It'll be a little more palatable of a loss. So I'm good. What I'm going to do is I'm going to list my bike on like Facebook Marketplace, Kijiji, that kind of stuff, for a private sale for kind of what would make me happy for it. I'll kind of test the waters. If I feel like I'm going to get something good for it, then I'll private sell it and I'll buy the Boosta separately. But I don't want to have two bikes right now. So especially two that are kind of similar in their usage, it'd be different if I had a cruiser and a Busa or my Ninja, but yeah, I definitely want one. I think they're fucking sick, like the OG super bikes. So I mean, I definitely think they're cool. I like the kind of eggy stretched fucking look of them. I think they're sick. So
They,
so yeah,
I went to a shop yesterday. They had a Ducati V4S
the fancy boy.
sitting next to a Ducati Diavol.
Hmm. I love the Diablos though.
Both were the Ducati red.
Yeah,
And I looked at them and I'm like, I think I like the fucking Diavol better.
and that's what I almost bought before this bike.
It
Remember?
had like the big
Huge
fucking
tire.
big tank. No, in the front.
Oh,
Look at the front. Because the Ducati's very like obviously sleek, right? The Diavol had like a big front, and like big ribs, I guess, big chest.
yeah,
Goes into like the small seat and then the big fat tire on the
huge
back.
tire. Yeah.
Like the seating.
It's a bike that's good for big guys too. Like the V4S is obviously a fucking sick bike. Like, but it's a sick bike if you're 190 pounds,
Yeah,
or less.
yeah, yeah.
Like when you see big guys ride sport bikes like that are a bit on the smaller side, it looks a bit fucking chintzy. Like
I
my
think
even
I
sorry,
think I think I can ride those now.
you're not quite that small yet,
I'm
I don't think.
220. I'm 220.
Yeah, you got a couple more pounds
Serious.
to lose.
I think if I put on a tracksuit, I don't think I would look bad. I'm on
Yeah. And that's one of the things that led me towards the Busa is that like it's kind of a fucking big chunky, longer, lower
a
bike.
badass bike too.
Yeah, it's a badass bike and it's so low, man. Like you sat on one of those, you're like if I stood up full height, I have like 6 inches between my crotch and the tank. It's so low, which feels kind of fucking dope. So I don't know. My bike's really comfortable, but I also don't like I bought it because I'm like, yeah, it'd be good if I want to do a bit longer riding. I've done zero longer riding on it.
Oh, I
So,
know.
it's like that bike's never left my city. And if I'm doing longer riding, it's like we're going somewhere and I'm renting a bike that's best for long riding. So, I'm not super concerned about it. But yeah, I'm gonna list mine privately, kind of see. The thing is with Boosters is they don't move. Like anything that's at a dealer now, they're gonna be there in the fucking spring or the whole winter. Like the one that you sent me that I put on my Instagram, that's been there for like 2 years, So
Hey,
I'm
this guy
but
asked, sorry, let's move on. This guy asked what about Logan's updates?
yeah, pull him up. He looks really good.
This fucking thing is not helping me out. Okay, this is Logan's page. These are Logan's most recent updates. Fuck, this guy's like lean as fuck all the time, eh?
I still want to see more on those like arms and delts though, like a little more width up top because he's like a bit wider. He has a small waist, but he's a bit wider in the hips, and he's got kind of a long sweeping quad. He's got a really nice full chest, but I think the arms, it's a very cool look. But I still would like to see a bit more on the delts and arms, I think is what he needs to really match with those top guys, you know? But
I don't,
it's
I don't
awesome.
dis, I don't disagree with you. I think this is just I don't know, man. Fuck.
Sick physique though, for sure.
It's a crazy physique.
Yeah. I mean, and he looked so sick at the Arnold. Like
Yeah.
I
I mean,
definitely see him as a guy that'll be fighting for that top five spot for sure.
can you drive with your left arm, Fouad? Yes, I can. Um, get Chris to sign your bike and sell it for 5K over value. Chris who? Oh, Bumstead.
Oh yeah. That's actually a good idea. I'll get Chris to fucking sign it. Ride it one time. Just be like, Chris, go take this down the street. Say that it's Chris
Picture of him,
ridden.
take a
Yeah.
video of him riding it. Yeah.
Yeah. Rub your nutsack on the tank or something. And then we'll fucking, you know, we'll sell it on his IG and get fucking 20 grand for it. Yeah.
Do you think Martin will remain top six? Yes, I
Yeah. I
do.
think he's right on that cusp. I think right now I have him kind of in that 5, 6 spot. Him and Andrew and a couple other guys I think could be contenders for there. But as of now, I think Martin's going to look good. I think he's leveled up a bit more. So I think if he comes in peaked well, like he did last Olympia, I think he's definitely a guy that's right in that 5, 6 spot.
Still think people are underestimating Grego for classic. I don't underestimate Grego at all.
Not at all.
I think he'll be in the top five. I just don't think I don't think his shape is, he's got enough muscle. I don't think he has enough shape to go with that muscle to stand with someone like um Sommerfeld.
Yeah.
Like he's
Yeah.
in
No,
the
I don't think he's
top
a
five, but he's
contender
in the
with
back.
Sommerfeld. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what they mean by when they say underestimating, like for the crown to actually win. I don't think his shape lends itself to like fifth place is a perfect spot for him
Yeah.
because he's got a ton of muscle and it fits all well. But shape wise, I think he's losing a little bit to the top guys.
Yeah. I see him kind of in the same group as Logan and Jose Ma, those kind of guys. I see those as kind of the back end of the first call out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So someone just said something here. I want to. Someone said, "Why is everyone underestimating Andrew, best structure in the IFBB?" Okay, I'll tell you. I don't think anyone's underestimating. I think saying that we have him kind of in the 5, 6 spot is not an underestimating. That's top 6 bodybuilders on the entire planet. I think Andrew one historically doesn't bring his best to the Olympia generally. I think he underperforms from a peak standpoint and from a posing standpoint. I think he always kind of poses a bit lax or just is maybe exposed more at the Olympia. And he generally doesn't bring his best to the Olympia. So when we're talking about Olympia, it's hard to put him up there. And then two, a mix of conditioning and muscularity. Like he's got really good muscularity when he's really full, but when he brings it down to get the conditioning, he does look a little more streamlined, and that takes away his kind of freakiness. So I think he's still kind of trying to find that spot, similar to a guy like Quint or something. So yeah, I mean, look, I think Andrew has the capabilities to place win, but yeah, sure. Do I think he's there? I don't know. We haven't seen him on stage for a little bit, so it'll be interesting to see. But I think Andrew, yeah, is probably one of the best structure. I think from the front, his front lat spread, ab and thigh, I think are the best in the IFBB. So yeah, it's tough to say. I mean, I think he has the potential, but it hasn't been demonstrated, especially on the Olympia stage, particularly.
Yeah, he hasn't been able to show at the Olympia, man. You need to have all three pillars of bodybuilding, right? Like you talk about conditioning, um, muscularity, and aesthetics. You can't you can't have a 7 or an 8 on those. You gotta have nines across the board at least. And Andrew's showing up. He's not showing up his aesthetics are bringing him across the line, but his conditioning is not where it needs to be, in my opinion, to be talked about in the top three.
Yeah, and he hasn't demonstrated like significant strides in improvement. The comment Caleb had was, not everyone has the means to pay for a top tier coach. And with the fact that bodybuilding needs to be tailored to each person, are there any programs out there that are somewhat decent? Okay, well, what I'll say is I think there is a lot of really, really good coaches out there that aren't going to charge you the pricing of, a Patrick or a Stefan or a Hani or a Chris Aceto, and have the time to dedicate to someone that isn't a top Olympian. I think these top guys, a lot of their focus and energy goes to the top dogs, and they price themselves for everybody else accordingly, that they need to be able to, limit it in some aspect because they need to give that energy to these top guys. So if you charge yourself too little, you're going to get too many people. Sorry, go ahead.
I want to jump in here. Sorry, finish that, and I want to jump in here.
And so, yeah, I think there is a lot of really, really good coaches out there that are in a very palatable. I've said palatable like 4 times today. I don't know why that's my word of the day. At a very good price point. Like if you want to find a coach that's $100, $200 a month, I think there is really good guys out there that aren't working with top pros, that could give you the time and the energy and are still really, really good. They just haven't had the opportunity to work with guys. So yeah, I think there is good guys out there. I think you just need to find the right guy.
I want to talk about this. I think it's interesting. When I said guys in the top three have to have nines across the board, this Elias Batson said Nick doesn't have nine shape. And I think I want to make a quick point here, as I disagree, because other than if you looked at him on the front only, you might say, yeah, aesthetically, he's an 8. But if you look at Nick in any other pose, and even if you took his front double bicep, it is actually pretty aesthetic. Everything
Yeah.
is everything is very even and clean. He still has a nice X frame. If you take the side shots, they're very overwhelming. His shape in the side shots is incredible. The shape in
Yep.
the back shots,
Is amazing.
I've been arguing for months now that he has the best back double bicep in bodybuilding. So it's like,
He has the biggest X frame in the back double. When you come from into the waist and out from the legs, it's the best X there is.
yeah, and it's the same thing in the side shots. When you look from the side, when that shoulder and arm comes across, it goes into the waist and back out to the leg. That's beautiful shape. Same thing inside tricep. So he's missing one pose, maybe front lat spread. But I would argue that he does have nine shape. It's not as clean and pretty as like Derek would present it.
Yeah. And
Maybe
where he makes up
because
for that though is like you're saying nines across the board, but some categories like muscularity, Nick is an 11.
no,
Like
but I was
yeah.
making the point they have to have nines in shape.
Yeah.
And I like nines across the board in all pillars. So he's saying he doesn't have nines in shape. And I'm saying if you eliminated skin texture and veins, you might look at it a little bit differently because it's just the cleanliness of the physique, the way Derek looks versus Nick.
Someone said, Fouad, I was at at the Grand Prix where Samson guest posed. You should be proud to have him part of HOSSTILE. He is a fantastic ambassador. Yeah, I think we all agree there. Yeah.
I'm proud to have him as a friend.
Does
Um,
Urs does Urs have a puncher's chance of a pull off the surprise victory before the Olympia, Italy or Germany? Not sure how he's going to look. Look, there's always a chance. Urs is a top 2, top 3 at the Olympia in classic physique, and we saw how that those kind of physique can translate. Do I think that he's there yet? No. Do I think that he could maybe win one of those shows? I don't know. I mean, because there's a good chance a lot of these guys, bar who doesn't win, will go to the next show. And then, maybe James is competing. I'm not sure what he's doing, if he's willing to do the UK after the Olympia or wherever that is that's qualifying for next year's Olympia. I don't think he could beat James yet. But I mean, look, I don't think it's out of the question, but if I'm sitting here betting money on it, I'm not going to bet that he will qualify for this year's Olympia.
yeah, I think it's a tall order, man. I think these guys can switch classes and they can make a big impact, especially Urs, who's been cutting weight for so long, and cutting down on muscle that he has. But I don't know. I think he's got a chance. I would say he does have a chance, but I wouldn't bet either. Um, were you impressed? Were you impressed with Samson's recent guest appearance? He looked great this far out. I think Samson looked better at this guest appearance that he's looked at some of his shows. And he sent me some pictures yesterday or for video. I think people are going to be really excited to see what he brings in a few weeks, man. It's fucking the
Yeah.
video he sent me yesterday was fucking wild.
And sorry, I was incorrect. He was not saying the guest posing. He was saying Samson's show in the UK, the one that he was promoting. So my mistake. But yeah, same rule applies of that. Yes, he is a good ambassador.
Uh,
Why do you think Hadi has not arrived yet into the US? Visa problems with US foreign policy. Um, Potentially, I don't see Hadi necessarily having trouble getting into the US only because he has a significant history in the US. That's the problem with Baruz, is Baruz comes from the same country, but Baruz has not been to the US on visas. It doesn't have a US based sponsor like Hadi does with Evogen and Hani. So one, having the sponsorship from a US based company, and two, having significant travel experience, you know, uh, history into the US goes a long way. You know, when they're looking at this, okay, is this person a risk to come in the country and potentially stay and work in the United States and not leave? I think they've seen that Hadi has demonstrated that he has a life, he has, children and a life and can support himself by not living in the US. Where someone like Baruz as not a US based sponsor, he's never been here. So there's more question marks there from a immigration standpoint where Hadi doesn't have those. Look, there is a chance with the how things are right now, but I think Hadi's odds, given his history and because of what he is at the Olympia level, that he can demonstrate I am one of the best bodybuilders on the planet. I've proven that on the Olympia stage, which is the most prestigious show. I know I've done visas for the US. I know they look at this and they want to see proof that you are one of the best bodybuilders in the world, where Baruz can't demonstrate that in the same way, even though he has won shows. He hasn't been to the Olympia. He hasn't competed. He can't say, look, I've been to this show multiple times. I returned to my home country. This is this. Like it's going to be a lot easier for Hadi, I believe.
Also, these guys are saying that Bruce is also former military.
So
Iranian,
that's definitely not
Iranian
helping him
military.
either. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, let's wrap there. We're good. We knocked out 45 minutes. Um, Ian, you good?
Great. I'm just looking if there's any other good questions. I think judges do research. Maybe you can touch on this one. Do you think judges do research on each competitor's body to help in the moment of judging? No, I don't think they do research per se. Do I think that a lot of the judges pay attention on social media, check guys' updates? I think a lot of them are fans of the sport. Do I think that Tyler and Jack and Bill and a lot of these guys follow bodybuilding? 100%. I think they love bodybuilding. That's why they were bodybuilders or they're fans of bodybuilding. That's why they got into judging bodybuilding. I don't think any of these guys got into judging bodybuilding because they're going to make $1 million a year, except maybe Tyler, but that's a bit different him where his position is in the IFBB. So yeah, I think that these guys are fans of the sport. They probably follow it on social media. I know some of them watch the podcast. They keep up to date with bodybuilding. So they are gathering intel, kind of what they expect to see, what they hope to see, seeing these guys' updates, 100%. Do I think that they're judging anything other than what they see in front of them that day? I do not. I think it doesn't matter how good you looked at 1 week out or, what parts there, whatever. But I mean, I think maybe the one thing I could agree with is like something like the Hadi's bicep we were just talking about, maybe they see something like that. And I'm not saying this is a big thing for him, but say they saw that and they're like, okay, I'm going to keep an eye out for that on stage. Like, is this something we notice? But I think they would also notice it on stage without noticing it on social media. I think if it's evident enough, they're going to see it on stage, and what they saw on social media doesn't matter. So no, I don't think they're really putting too much stock into what they're seeing throughout the year.
Yeah, one more thing before we go, because I saw this yesterday and I wanted to make some changes to my predictions.
For what, this show coming up?
Yeah,
What did you see?
Tim's update.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I'll change anything.
I don't think he's going to be 10th.
You think it'd be higher?
Yeah.
Look, it's definitely potential. Where Tim loses a lot of
Where,
ground
where
is
do
that front and back double,
where do I have him? Predictions. I just want to see where I think I have him in 10th right now.
Someone said, should Keon worry about any up and comers in the 212? Maybe Lucas Garcia? No. No.
Hey, focus.
Sorry. Well, I'm still answering questions here,
I know, but
You keep doing your thing. I'll keep answering questions.
we're not doing this separately. We're doing it together.
We can multitask.
All right. I have him fucking out of the top 10.
Yeah, so do I.
Oh, I got to change that. So do you. Yeah, I got to change that.
Yeah, it's tough though. Who do you put out,
I put him at least here.
Let me look at mine. I'm actually going to switch something.
Go ahead.
I'm going to put Mark Hector to win.
Really?
Yeah, his recent updates look really good. And I got a buddy that's over there at the show and that saw him at like check-ins and said he looks pretty fucking wacky. So I'm going to go with that. We'll keep going down. Let me see.
Wait. I don't make some changes.
Yeah, you do that.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to move Sergio ahead of Urs.
The other guys don't get a chance to change their picks.
That sucks for them.
Urs.
I think Mo made no, I think Urs can beat Mo. Hussein, Lewis. Go down. I'm going to put Amir over Lewis. Then
What's
I'm
that?
gonna then I'm gonna put Tim in 10th. There you go. I'm happy with those. Those are good picks.
That's why.
Someone said there's no way Theo is beating Tim. Hasn't Theo beat Tim? Doesn't he historically beat Tim?
Not
Or
always.
doesn't Tim usually beat Theo? Sorry.
No.
Wait, I'm saying this the wrong way. Doesn't Theo usually beat Tim?
No.
No, but I don't know. Has Tim ever been to the Olympia? I know Theo's been at least once or twice.
Uh,
Okay, well then I'm gonna switch it up even more. I'm gonna listen to the fans here. And we'll see if you're wrong or right.
oh my God. I've totally forgot. I botched my whole fucking thing here. Where's Mo? Mo. There he's Mo. Okay, Mo. Then I'm putting Tim. I'm gonna put Lewis, Amir, Theo. No, I'm gonna
Someone
put
said Ian Lewis is skin shredded right now. Yeah, Lewis is always skin shredded, but so are some of the other guys I have beating him, you know?
where's Theo? Theo, Amir, and then Kalate. Okay, I think I'm good.
Go down. Let me see mine again.
I moved Tim up to sixth.
I think Hussein Kalate.
Tim
You know
could beat
what?
Kalate.
Yeah, I'm okay. I'm gonna put Amir up to 6. I'm gonna put Lewis to 7. Hussein 8. Theo and then Tim. Yeah.
Do you think Hussein can beat Theo and Tim?
You don't think so?
No,
Just because he's too small, he's fucking good, man.
because look, they have the same. If they both have like not great shape, Tim is twice his size.
Hussein's got pretty good shape though.
No, he doesn't.
Pull him up.
No. Pull him up. Where is he? Kalate, where are you? There you are. I mean, it's not bad shape. It's just not. It's the same as Tim's.
I think it's better than Tim's. Yeah. Yeah, I think he's too small. I think you're right.
I don't think that beats Tim, man.
Okay, go down. Let me see. Lewis. Okay, yeah, swap Hussein to 10th.
I
I think he's just too small compared to these
I
guys.
think Bono is better than Hussein too.
Yeah, okay, so put Bono, the guy I did have in 10th before, in 10th, and then put uh Theo and then Tim. The other way.
Okay.
Other
Where-
way.
Oh, Theo. Oh, okay.
Theo and then Tim. Yeah.
All right. Well, it's,
We're
it's
cheating over
okay.
here.
That's okay. We made some good changes. Um, all right. Any other questions before we get out of here? No, no. Tim in sixth is brave. I don't think so, man. Tim's usually a top five guy or close to it. That's not crazy to say. I'm gonna leave him there. I got faith in Tim. I like him too. He's a nice guy. Maybe it's a heart pick. I don't know. All right, let's go. Let's get out of here. I got work to do.
All right.
All right, everybody. Thanks for watching. Catch you guys on the podcast. Ian, I'll see you later, brother.